All right, welcome into Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, archived live on, or archived on their website, on demand, and on their app as well. We're live on Facebook, on 1010XL's Facebook page, and my own personal Facebook page. Hope everyone's doing great. Hope you had a great weekend, off to a great week. The free agency off to a huge start. We're going to get into that. Of course, the big news there with Jawaan Taylor moving on, but we'll get into that. This show brought to you by my friends at The Carpet Man. I filmed a TV commercial for The Carpet Man on Friday. And, man, we had a blast at his St. John's Bluff Road warehouse. And stay tuned for that. I think you're going to like it. Little singing was involved. Little this, little that. It was a good time, though. But, man, check that out at the Carpet Man. Of course, also the Southern Grill. It's some of the best food in town. Just go check them out. Down on the South Bay, 800 Flagler Avenue. I'm telling you, fresh Southern cooking. It's absolutely incredible. People that work around there, they know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, the NFL free agency is huge. Just got kicked off. Before I say that, congrats to Scotty Scheffler winning the TPC, $4.5 million. It used to be like 2. When did it jump to 4.5? That's a nice. Not that 2's not a nice payday, because it is, but man, that's a nice payday for Scotty Scheffler and his family. Good morning. How are you, Graham?
Hello, sir. Good
you
morning.
were out there all week. I didn't go out there at all. And I'll tell you what. It's funny. I had to take my daughter, my youngest, had a performance at Douglas Anderson Friday night. So I had to drop her off around 6. I'm on my way back on JTB. The line, because I live at the beach, coming over, the line coming out of there, A1A, you know what I thought about? How many guys were holding their piss in their cars, just dying from all the beers and drinks that they had.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not just guys, you know what I'm talking about? People just
absolutely.
I got to go to the bathroom, and stuck in traffic. I have to admit, I'm glad I wasn't part of that part of TPC. But it looked beautiful, great weather, and great coverage by our friends here at 1010XL.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir. But awesome weather, awesome time.
Yep.
It's always really fun. It's one of the, it's the flagship event of the PGA Tour, obviously, but it's also one of the flagship events of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So,
without a doubt. It's probably one of the best events. Aside from our Jags winning, it's a singular event, probably the best event in town.
It's that in Florida, Georgia.
Yeah. Oh, good
Those
call.
two are probably tied, I would say.
Yeah.
Very different.
Totally. Well,
right.
Somewhat different. I mean, there's a lot of drinking going on at both places.
That's true.
A lot of college kids.
It's just one you have a collared shirt on and the other you don't.
Yeah, right. Might not have any shirt on.
One you're supposed to be quiet during the event. The other you're supposed to be loud.
Be loud, right? That's true. That's true. But
awesome weekend.
Phenomenal.
Scotty on his back 9 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Technician.
Yeah.
Dude. And
it's tough when you got a lead too, man. Grant, it's tough. I don't care who you play.
He had a big enough lead where he could play it super conservatively. Yeah. But still, man, 17, he had swirling winds. You still got to hit it.
Yeah, that was great.
You still got to hit land.
His drive off 18 when it never turned.
Oh, yeah.
He thought it was going to turn on.
He said, I'm not messing with this water stuff. Yeah. I'm hitting all the way over here. Yeah.
I'll hit a person before I hit water.
But he was a technician.
It was cool that his mom, who lives nearby, walked every hole. She's in her 80s and had her walker with her. She walked every hole.
It's crazy.
Not just on Sunday, from Thursday on. That's great, man. But congratulations
she had her Apple
to
Watch
the Scheffler family. That's pretty damn awesome. All right, free agency has kicked off. So much going on. I mean, so much going on. More rumors, too. I'm going to ask Graham if he heard this one because I saw it online. But we'll talk about that. Of course, our Jags. Whoops. There you go. I forgot to turn that back around. Our Jags, they released Shaq Griffin. We knew that was coming. That saves a big amount of room in the cap. They lose Jawaan Taylor, of course. We'll talk about that in just a second. They lose Manhurts as well. He goes to the Broncos as a blocking tight end. Look, we kind of thought that Jawaan Taylor, was 50-50, that we'd be able to keep him. I mean, with the contract he got, 4-year, $80 million. What was the guarantee on that? Was it 60? That's incredible. This is the Pandora's box I think the league has opened up because of the way they tagged them and put the value on the tags, the left tackle and the right tackle are the same. There's no different of value where before left tackle was way more valuable than a right tackle. Not way, but a good bit more. You can see it in the cap numbers. Your left tackle was, the best tackle and, the best athlete on that line. And now it's like, well, the right tackle's kind of the same. You look at McGlinchey got a huge contract. Jawaan, look, I'm happy for all the players getting the contracts, including Jawaan Taylor. Talk is he may play left tackle.
Yeah, he's expected to play left tackle.
Well, it depends what happens with Orlando Brown. By the way, if I'm the Bears, I'm jumping all over Orlando Brown. I mean, you got the money. Go get that dude and solidify Justin Fields for crying out loud. But whatever. Look, I don't know. Can he play left? I don't know. I don't know. I know this. I said this on Twitter. If I'm going against Jawaan Taylor and he's the Chiefs' left tackle, I feel really good about my number one pass rusher going against him. I think he's going to win that day. I'm not going to say he's going to dominate it because, look, Jawaan Taylor's he had a really good fourth year. He had a really good last year. He was good. Couple years prior to that, he wasn't that good. He was okay. His rookie year, he was pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to say his best seasons were this past year and his
rookie year. And so, look, I hope he can continue to play. I will say, I was thinking about this earlier, too. You think about, like, the way offenses are run today. How long does the left tackle have to block or the right tackle have to block anymore? These quick throws and getting it out, there's not a lot of power run, 7-step drop. I mean, some do it, of course, with Derrick Henry and the Titans and others, but you know what I mean? It's like maybe you don't need a left tackle like a Baselli or Orlando Brown, you know what I mean, or Pace or whoever, any of these big-time left tackles. Maybe you don't need that anymore because the ball's out quick. They don't have to hold the block very long.
And QBs are more mobile, too.
What's that?
QBs are more mobile, too.
QBs are mobile. You want the mobile QB, but you still got to, throw a lot of those throws from the pocket. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing, but I don't know. Now it comes down for us here locally, so is Cam our left tackle? Is Walker our right tackle? I will say this about anyone. I know people are saying, well, Walker struggled at right tackle. Well, let me just say this. Phil Rosher wasn't on the staff when he struggled at right tackle. You know what I mean? You never saw him really struggle at right tackle. The year before when he tried a little bit of right tackle, yeah, he didn't fare that great. He was only okay. Wasn't that great at left tackle either 2 years ago. But when Phil Rosher came to town, I think he helped all the offensive linemen become better, including Jawaan Taylor, who just earned that huge contract. So I expect, look, if it's Cam and Walker and then they bring someone else, they're going to have to draft or bring someone else in, I'm fine with that. And I think Walker Little will step up and be a very good player at right tackle. And in his case, it doesn't matter if you're right tackle or left tackle. You're still going to get about $20 million a year if you're any good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that back to my point, like, it doesn't matter anymore what side of the line you're on when you're talking about the offensive tackle position, which, hey, again, more money, the better. The more money, the better. So
I personally am pretty happy that Jawaan left and got paid. I'm happy for him because he went and got paid. Congrats to him. And he's playing for the best quarterback in the league. Yeah. Congrats.
Got a chance to go to the championship game every year.
Right. And I also wasn't crazy about really harshly manipulating the cap here to accommodate him, especially if he was going to command that kind of money.
Yeah.
It's always been my personal opinion that if Walker Little's there, I think you can use that cap in other ways to shore up other areas.
Look, you're not with Walker there, you're not going to overspend for Jawaan Taylor.
And you should.
If you're the Jacks. Nor should you. And you know what? The market, people get caught up in the market. Look, it's very simple. The salary cap's based off percentages of revenues that the league brings in. The league's revenues keep going like this. The TV contracts are ridiculous. They're in billions and billions of dollars. What does that mean? The percentage of the revenue that goes to the players gets dispersed out to the players. So contracts are going to go up. And whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. My question, I don't know if it's a question, but think about this. The $100 million a year player's coming. It's coming. I don't know how fast, but it's coming, man. Think about that. 4 years, $400 million quarterback. You know what I mean?
We were talking
Who cares?
about this.
It doesn't matter because why? Because even though they're paying this ridiculous amount, Arthur Blank just put out $233 million on 6 players. $233 million, a lot like the Jags did last year. Can they flip it? Remains to be seen. But guess what? Arthur Blank, whether they kick ass or not, he's still making a ton of money. That's not like, oh my gosh, I hope it works. What's my return on the investment? No, it's none of that. It's like, this is what we bargained for, right? This is a percentage. This is what it is. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to spend it, and, good for them. We'll see if it turns them around. But that's where the league is, and that's where it's going. You got to wonder, does it ever end?
From an ownership perspective, it doesn't really hurt their pockets.
No.
It doesn't hurt their pockets at all, actually, because of everything you just said. Yep. We were talking about this last week out at the Players. We were just talking about it during breaks and stuff.
Yep.
We know that the cap is going to keep going up. Assuming the value of the NFL and the value of the TV contracts continue to go up, which it's showing no signs of slowing down.
I mean, I wonder what it would be. What would it take for it to derail? You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot. Something really, really, really bad, which we hope never happens.
So we were talking about this. What will we reach a point where, especially with the quarterback deals, because they're the most lucrative, of course, will we ever reach a percentage where it's a tipping point where teams are like, I can't do that? A percent. Forget about a numerical value because it all equates to the cap, of course.
Yep.
But is there a percentage of my cap that even if you are an elite quarterback,
right,
it's just too high?
Right.
Will we reach that point?
Well, look at Baltimore. Although, did you see what Schefter reported? Did you see what Lamar Jackson turned down? The $133 million wasn't the guarantee. It was what he was going to get at signing. They were going to give him $133 million right there as he signed a contract. $175 million in guarantees with injuries, and $200 plus if he stays healthy and plays through 2026.
I was going to say that was probably like a 5-year, 6-year deal or something.
I mean, you got to know your value, man. And I'm not giving up 2 firsts for him. I'm not. The last 2 years have only been okay. Some of it's been injury. I like him a lot. Don't get me wrong. Don't come at me like you're crazy. I'm telling you, I wouldn't. I wouldn't give up that
because it's 2 firsts plus a ridiculous contract.
$250 million, $230 million. He's not. Look, you're not going to pay the number one. You're not going to pay number one money for a guy that's not number one in the league. Why would you? I wouldn't. And I wouldn't put up that kind of draft capital for him right now. Look, 2019 was a while ago. He was okay the past couple of years. I mean, not bad, but not like Lamar-esque that you thought. I thought that I was looking at his injury. I could have swore he hurt his arm or shoulder at some point, but I guess he didn't. It's all been knee and ankle. So you're worried. I would be more worried about the arm than I am the legs, right? Because he's still going to be able to run. But I don't know, man. I'm shocked he turned that down. And look, you know what? I think the Browns, unless Deshaun Watson leads you to a Super Bowl, that money's not worth it for you. It may not cost you anything. It may not hurt you. You know what I mean? But if he doesn't win, he's not worth that. So maybe that's just maybe what you're talking. That's getting way out there. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, you look at how did the Cardinals pay Kyler Murray $190 in guarantees, $189.5 million in guaranteed money? The guy doesn't even like studying his play, and it doesn't like watching film. I mean, that's when it's like, well, how much further? Look, what do you expect if Trevor has another big year? And again, last year was a big year compared to the year one, but that last 10 games, including the playoffs, that was phenomenal. But what about he's gonna? What do you think he's gonna command?
I know,
and he should. I would too. I'd be like, look at what the guard from the Boston College grad Lindstrom just got.
Yeah,
5-year, $105 million.
Jawaan Taylor. Jawaan Taylor just got $60 million guaranteed to play a position he's never played in the NFL.
Unbelievable.
But I think with the quarterback discussion, it is weird because you do get there's a lot of quarterbacks where they're in this weird gray area of are they good enough, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There's a ton of quarterbacks in that category. I would argue there's on any given year there's only 5 or 6 that are like
really
that guy.
Yeah.
And it's
worth
like
that kind of money.
And it's no questions asked.
Right.
This is my QB, whatever it takes.
Look, for the record, you look at a guy, I look at Derek Carr. Is he worth $25 million in guaranteed money a year? No, he hasn't won anything.
Yeah.
He'll throw up stats. He'll make you look pretty. He'll give you touchdowns. He'll give you yards. But guess what? When it's crunch time, clutch, when he's got to play clutch, he don't play clutch consistently. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't. And then you could, is he worth it? Well, I don't know. The market says he is. You're not going to change the market just because you don't think somebody's worth it. So good for him that he got it. But would I be that excited if I'm in New Orleans? If I'm a fan of the Saints, I'll be like, I don't know.
So that's sort of where
he's okay.
And that's sort of where that conversation kind of leads to is like when you're in that situation, because the Saints are in cap hell anyways, right?
Yep, right.
When you're in that situation, are you better off doing that and going and getting a Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo or whoever? Yep. These guys are all the same guy, right? For the most part.
I like Jimmy G better than I like Derek Carr.
I do too.
And I think Jimmy G's going to do great with the Raiders if he stays healthy. I really do. That was a great signing. That's in my notes. I think Jimmy G, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Jimmy G to the Raiders, I think, is going to be dynamite.
I like Jimmy G too, but I think we could both agree that they're not Mahomes, Allen tier, right?
No, but Jimmy G's got a good resume as far as getting his team to the champion, the big game.
He does.
If he didn't get hurt a couple of times, who knows?
Right.
He's not that kind of cute because he doesn't move like them.
Right.
But he can throw from the pocket with the best of them, in my opinion. So I like Jimmy G
sure.
to the Raiders.
I just think when you have a QB that's kind of that second tier, and they're not in that top tier of guy.
Right.
As a GM, I have to ask myself, if I'm going to have to pay him ridiculous money, and I already have some salary cap issues, am I better off just going and drafting somebody and seeing what I got? I know he's a rookie, but he's not going to cost me anything.
You're starting over.
You are. You're completely starting
over. So you got to, like you, and that's a great thing to bring up. I was talking about this from my house on Tuesday. You look at the Giants. Brian Daboll says this, I can win with him. Now, everyone bitched and moaned, how does Danny Dimes get a contract, but Lamar Jackson cannot, right? And you're sitting there going, they offered him like way less. He got $82 million in guaranteed money, which is huge. Nothing near what they offered Lamar Jackson, nor should it have been.
I'm sure the Ravens would gladly give Lamar that contract.
What's that?
I'm sure the Ravens would gladly give Lamar that contract.
In a heartbeat. Right. But Daboll says what? No, I can win with Danny Dimes. He fits my offense. He's my guy. And for the record, it's really only a 2-year deal. If he doesn't get it done in a couple years, it costs you, 80 or whatever it was. What did he get? $82 million in guarantees? Fine, it did cost you that, but you didn't have to start over. And starting over, you don't know. We got Trevor. We feel really good about Trevor, but think about the other young QBs. You really sold on all. Look at Zach Wilson. Smell you later. They picked him really, really high. Trey Lance, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe.
Justin Fields is the weird one for that
Fields
class.
You're
kind of in the middle.
He's ascending, though.
I agree.
I think his last year, he really improved with the crap around him.
And they just went and got him more help. DJ Moore is a damn good receiver.
Really good receiver.
Really good wide receiver.
I think that was a good trade. Good for them.
Oh, my. Phenomenal trade.
I wonder who keeping hearing Richardson, Carolina.
I don't know who they're going to take, but they're in love with someone.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing about Richardson is I think you might be more... I think it's more believable that someone fell in love with Anthony Richardson, right? Even if you believe Stroud and Young are better, which I personally do, I think it's feasible to look at the skill set and the combine and the measurables and fall in love.
Listen, this
and
year,
be willing to make a crazy
compared
trade.
to last year, of course, this year is really tough picking QBs. I mean, look, you can go back to a lot. We've seen it here in Jacksonville. When you miss on your first-round QB, it sets your franchise back. It does, especially when you pick them really high. That can hurt. Now, will it set, what's going to happen with the Jets? I think what's interesting with the Jets, which I forgot about this, or maybe I just didn't remember until after I wrote it down, but Robert Saleh hired Nathaniel Hackett, Nate Hackett, to be his OC. Rodgers and Hackett had a tremendous year in Green Bay before Hackett went to Denver. Now, you can say what you want about Hackett as a head coach. Obviously, it didn't work out. But as an OC, he's a pretty good OC. So you got to wonder. I mean, that would, you're Rodgers, if they can work out the money. I would feel pretty comfortable. Like if, okay, you got Hackett. Oh, he knows exactly what I like and, how I perform well. And we get along fine and yada, yada. You'd think that would be it, but I don't know. I get a little consulting business. I'm in the deal business. The longer a deal takes, the longer it probably isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? So I wonder what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. That's a big one. Of course, Jalen Ramsey goes to the Dolphins. That guy gets what he wants. I mean, I want out of here. Get me out of here, David. What is it? Mulgada? Is that his last name? Mulgada, the agent? He must be a dynamite agent. Anyway, you saw the Rosenhauses. They represented half the class, man. They're doing really well. But, yeah, he goes to the Dolphins. I don't know. Until Tua can play consistently, I'm not worried about the Dolphins. Their defense was good without Jalen. Rhodes on the other side is one of the best corners in the league. So now they add him. Yeah, he's great. I love him as a player. There's no doubt. I would have loved to have kept him, but if Tua doesn't, I don't care what you have if you ain't got the QB, and I wonder if they have the QB in Tua. Look, he was really good until he gets hurt, right? But now I don't know. I know what I'm aiming for. And up. I'm sorry. There's blood in the water. I'm going after that kid, and I'm going to make him fear me if I'm a defensive coordinator, because nobody likes to get hurt. It's not any fun, but that'll be interesting how that works out. Hey, you still got, let's see, Orlando Brown Jr.'s out there, Jordan Poyer's out there, James Bradbury, corner out of Philly for the right price, Dalton Schultz for the right price.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson's available as well.
He is, that's right. He is available as well. We don't know what's going to happen to Arden Key. I hope they can keep him. I did see something on Twitter, and I think Dilla, who's very popular on Twitter, I don't even know if I've met Dilla in person. I might have, and if I have, Dilla, I apologize because his brain doesn't work as it used to. But I think he retweeted something that the Jags are possibly looking at Zadarius Smith out of Minnesota, who used to be with Green Bay. Guy had 10.5 sacks last year, plays that outside backer position really well. That'll be interesting if that comes through. Calais Campbell gets released. Would you bring back Calais? I would, for the right money. I would. Yeah, hey, Tony, how you doing? Yeah, I would totally go after him. For the right, I don't know what that money is, but if you can fit him in, look, you got 30 plays out of him, I think, all day long a game. He can still play at a high level. He's tough to move at 6'8", 3 whatever. He's relatively healthy, good leader, good locker room guy. He loved Jacksonville. I think he still does. Could be a good thing there for. I'd take a flyer on a couple years with him all day long, wouldn't you, Graham?
100%.
Yeah, me too.
Not even a hesitation.
Looks like I saw a contingent of Jag coaches went up to Clemson for their pro day. Brian Breezy being targeted. I don't know enough of that. I mean, I watched the thing I get worried about with a lot of, studs at big schools like that. When they're going to look really good when they play against somebody that they're just bigger, stronger, and faster than. You know what I mean? You got to really measure them when they go against the
Trayvon
elite.
Walker.
What's that?
Trayvon Walker.
Yeah. How'd they do against the elite? That's what I'm looking at. Because I expect you to beat somebody that's physically inferior. I mean, it's just, laws of nature, right? If I'm bigger, I'm throwing you out the club. You ain't throwing me out the club. If I'm a bouncer and you're bigger than me, I'm getting help. I'm calling my crew. Hey, we need some help over here. But if not, I'm picking you up and you're going, right? So we'll see about him. We got some draft talk a little bit later. Free agency continues on. Like I said, Falcons did some work. They restructured links from Jesse Bates, good safety out of Cincy. And then David Onyemata, the defensive tackle, they bring him in. And they've been pretty darn active. So there's still some players out there. We'll see what happens. I was thinking about Jawaan Smoot. Man, I don't I called him Dwayne Smoot. Sorry. No, it's Jawaan Smoot. I'm sorry.
I think it's Jawaan.
Anyway, It sucks that he got injured, man, because he's a good morning, Jesse. He's more than solid of a player and has been. Jawaan's been a really, really good player. I wonder what happens with him. You know, if you're him, can you maximize your value coming off the injury? Or do you heal? Maybe the Jags give you a 1-year deal to, come back.
That's probably how you maximize
one of
it.
our guys. Yeah. If you're healthy, you're going to make the team. You're going to be in the rotation. You're going to play. He's a player now. He is. He's a gamer, that guy. He'll get after it. He's good against the run. Plays with a lot of fire. Again, sucks he got hurt. Arden Key, supposedly he's got a ton of suitors. I don't know. Did they have to choose between Jawaan Taylor and Arden Key for big money? I mean, if you're Arden Key, you're probably looking at some significant money. You got 8, 9 teams, 7, 8 teams after you. Good for him. Good for him. So I hope we can keep him. And then you don't need Zadarius Smith. That's when I hear rumors of that must mean Arden Key's not going to be here. You know what I mean? I don't think you bring a similar guy in.
Well, Zadarius Smith is better, so.
He's really good. I think Arden, if you put Arden as that outside backer, and then moved him inside I think he'd be more productive. I think it's tough coming off the bench and then be an undersized guy. Now, his quickness might overwhelm you initially, but you can settle. You just stay a little more patient and then punch him. And if he's not that strong, he's easier to stop. You know what I mean? On that interior, they're just bigger. So they get their hands on you. You're not, but if you can make them miss, they're different. But Zadarius Smith, if he could make it here, that would be quite the grab for our Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, that's going to do it for me this time around on a Tuesday morning. I wish you nothing but the best out there and a great week ahead of you. Let's see. I got the horse's mouth. We're back to filming this Thursday. I'll be back on Jaguars Today this Friday, coming up Friday from 10 to 12 noon, and we'll jump right back into the podcast studio. Talk more free agency, look down the road, see what's happening. Will the Jags make a move or two? They do need to upgrade. They need another corner / nickel. Now you need another lineman. I'm still looking at that kid from Florida, man. If he's there at 24, I may jump all over that. Torrance, I just think he's a beast. I thought he was a beast just watching him. He was only
beast.
1 year, but, man, he mauls you. He's like a grizzly bear. You know what I mean? I mean, he's that, and he's mean. He gets after it. So that's the kind of guy I want on my offensive line. All right, until next time, stay safe and be cool out there, and we'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.